Hello everyone, welcome to STEM with Chantel.
Today we're going to be looking at how hydraulic systems work. So we're going to start out by defining what hydraulics actually are. So essentially, a hydraulic system is a system that uses pressurized fluid to create motion and then to perform work. So many large machines and pieces of equipment have hydraulic components. There are many different applications for hydraulics. One of the first things that may come to mind when hydraulics are mentioned would be construction equipment. Oftentimes you'll see like the big backhoes or the loaders or anything like that that have these big cylinders on them that are used to operate the various functions on those machines. Now, the hydraulics are not limited to the construction industry, however, and you'll find hydraulics in many different applications. And we'll go through and we'll take a look at some of them. So another example would be elevators. Now some, not all, but some elevators operate using hydraulics. The reason I say that there are some, but not all, is because there are limitations to using hydraulics in an elevator application. Typically, elevators that operate using hydraulics, they can only really be used for buildings that have 5 or 6 stories or less. And after that, they just become very inefficient, and other systems perform better. But any buildings that have 5 or 6 stories or under, hydraulic elevators are certainly an option. Hydraulic brakes are another possible application. Now, in comparison to mechanical brakes, hydraulic brakes are more efficient. Now, consequently, they are also more expensive. And you can see an image of how exactly a hydraulic brake works here on the right side of the screen. So other applications can include dishwashers. Some dishwashers have hydraulic components which actually help them to run quieter. Airplanes can also have hydraulic components to control the different panels and whatnot. Park rides oftentimes have hydraulic components. Snow plows, of course, in order to raise and lower the plow itself. Agricultural equipment oftentimes will have hydraulic components on their equipment. And then there's many other applications as well. So the primary components to a hydraulic system include the reservoir, the pump, the valves, the actuator, and the piping. And we'll look at all those individually. So the reservoir is what holds the hydraulic fluid. And depending on the application of the system, the necessary size of the reservoir may vary. So typically the size of the reservoir will be 2 to 3 times the pump flow. So certainly you're going to see probably a smaller reservoir on, say, a hydraulic brake system than you would, a really large backhoe or something that needs a lot more fluid and more pump flow in order to operate. So the pump is what is actually used to force the liquid throughout the system. And again, depending on the application, the pump size, it may vary. So the valves are what are used to control the hydraulic liquid. And with them, the direction, pressure, and flow rate can all be controlled. The actuator is what actually creates the motion. So once the hydraulic fluid is pumped into the actuator, a cylinder can create linear motion. And you can see in this graphic right here where the hydraulic fluid would flow into. You can also see how that actuator would move. Once you pump the fluid in, then that's going to create that motion. And finally, of course, a hydraulic system will require piping because the hydraulic fluid must travel from one location to another. And this is achieved with the hydraulic lines. And these lines must be capable of withstanding pressure, again, because they must be able to hold that pressure that is pumped through in order to create motion within the actuator.
Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more STEM with Chantel videos, check out this playlist. If you want to know when JCPL puts out more content, click the subscribe button and the notification bell.